What's going on, people? It's your boy Nerd.Chocolate, and on today's video we're talking about transition between scenes. Just talking about the basics. Just the basics. What's going on, people? So I know whenever you open a video editing program and you look at the transitions area, if it has a transitions area, you'll see tons of things like 3D dissolves or crazy 3D cuts and wipes and all these kind of crazy transitions. But most of those transitions are there for more of a specific need or specific use. They're not really meant to be used between every transition. Have you ever seen someone do a high school PowerPoint presentation and they realize that they can have a transition between every slide and a sound effect, and after a while it just kind of looks ridiculous? Well, that's kind of why you don't want to be using those crazy transitions in your projects all the time. Typically, there's 3 cuts you want to use, or 3 transitions, I should say, you want to use, and these are kind of like the industry standards. So the first one I want to talk about is the cut. It's where you just take 2 scenes, you put them side to side, and there's no transition in between. It's just there. You're watching one, then all of a sudden you're watching another. That's it. That's a pretty much industry standard. That's the one you're going to see in most TVs, shows, most movies, most documentaries, anything like that. The next one is more targeted towards people who do documentaries or vlogs, when you basically just have a person in front of a camera. Anytime you mess up a line and you want to cut out the part that you messed up, it's easy to do this, and it makes it look a lot cleaner. It looks better than having a jump cut. So the reason that you want to be able to, or the reason that you want to use this, is it makes it a lot more clean, kind of like what I just did right here. This way you can see, you can change the angle, you can cover up your mistake, but it also is more appealing to the eye than doing the jump cut like we saw earlier. The next one I want to talk about is a dissolve, or a wipe. Typically a wipe can be used to go from one scene to another, kind of like we just did there. And this is a really good way to show a passing of time. In this situation, it wasn't the best transition to use, but I just wanted to be able to show you on screen what I was actually referring to. And this one is really good if you're, say, going from a scene where it's daytime and then you're going to nighttime. The dissolve kind of shows a progressive passing of time, and that's why that one is really good to use. Some people, and I've seen this in some films and TV shows, where when they're going from like daytime to nighttime, do a really cool transition where they like position the camera facing upwards. You see like a tree and you see the sky, and it's a really fast time lapse from daytime to nighttime, and then they cut to the next scene. So there's tons of creative ways to do things like that, and not just using the dissolve, but that's typically what the dissolve is for, is to show a passing of time, and that's what it's really popularly used for. But there are so many different creative ways you can do these other cuts as well. And like I said before, when you go into your editing program, there's tons of transitions there. Those transitions there can be used. I'm not saying not to use them, but they typically have very specific uses. If your brand has like a lot of lines, or if not, a transition that does a lot of lines might be suitable for your video needs. Or if you're doing a comedic video, having like a funny wipe, go from funny scene to funny scene, or funny scene to not funny scene, or whatever the case may be. If it's a funny wipe and you're using this for a comedic value, then that makes sense for the project. But just one thing I wanted to give you guys some tips here is just try to stay away from those wipes. Try sticking with the cut, the jump cut, or sorry, the zoom cut, and the dissolve. Those are pretty much going to be the 3 things you should be using on a regular basis. Outside of that, you can use those other ones, but like I said, it's a very specific need. Anyways, hope this video is informative. It's your boy Nerd.Chocolate. Peace.